Hi, my name is Justin. I want to talk about a painting I did. This painting is titled Glamour Blooms 24. It was completed in 2013. It celebrates its 11-year birthday. So, um, this year, it's hard to believe, too. So, what I was going for with this painting, during this period, I was heavily inspired by Van Gogh, and I was captivated by the amount of texture. So, I wanted to create that in a flower artwork as well. I'm a sucker for flower artworks. I think they're timeless. I think they're tasteful, and you can't go wrong with the flower artwork. I mean, they're just cool. Flowers have always followed me since I was a child, with growing gardens and stuff like that. So it's only expected that it would follow me into adulthood. When I really didn't have gardens, it would manifest itself on the canvas. The painting is comprised of acrylic paint, glitter medium, metallic paint, and several layers. What I did was I would paint the canvas, I would prime it, then I would put the texture medium on it, and then I would do the swiggles with the wet paintbrush. And the wet paintbrush had to be lubricated, or else the modeling paste would stick to the paintbrush. That's how I did it. And it had to be a certain particular brush at a certain particular pressure, so it didn't look fat on certain parts of the swirl. Then what I did was of course, I want to let it be known, I painted the background first. Then I painted, after I painted the red, I went over the textured raised part with blue, and then I went into the grooves, the swirly grooves, with champagne gold. Or no, just gold in this case. Up to this point, I had created several metallic colors that were not sold in stores because that's what you had to do back then. Now, as it's developed, you have blue in every color, blue in every blue, and it was a trick because you couldn't make it too thin in terms of the body or the viscosity, and you couldn't make it too intense, and you couldn't add too much metallic paint, metallic medium. So it was really unique. It was about getting the intensity of color, the intensity of metallic paint, and the viscosity that you wanted, so it wouldn't look like it was, so it wouldn't be pasty. It would be more fluid. So what I did was, after I completed the background, I then worked on the flower. Well, I worked on the pot right there with the same little swiggles you see, and then the little branches, and then the leaves with the branches, and then I put over the flowers, or I put the flowers over them. The flowers usually cover everything. Then what I did was I painted the stems, all their greens, and rubbed it lightly with the lighter green on the peaks, and then the flowers got painted last. So it's always a process of respecting the background and painting the background first, so it didn't look reversed layered, which is not something I like. So other artists are good at doing it. I'm not. The texture medium paste is all white. That's why the colors are able to be brought out with such vibrancy. And what I wanted to do was really utilize all the colors I had mixed, especially the blues. I wanted to give every color at least three, so I could be fair to all the colors that were new at that point. Yellow was my favorite, and the blue, and then the secondary teal and baby blue. Those were colors that were, they weren't. I believe I mixed them all. The blue had to. There was a lot of tampering with every color you see was tampered with or added to. Something was added to it to make it what I wanted, because out of the bottle just wasn't satisfactory for me or my vision. Van Gogh really inspired the texture, especially on the roses. I wanted the painting to have the side profile on the stems, but the frontal view of the flowers. And that's a very weird perspective that so many people call out, or they don't call it out at all. But I want it to be like you were looking right into the flowers. Um, it's probably one of my favorite paintings. It's been published several times. Um, it's been shown in I think like 4 or 5 shows. I think I don't really know. My memory is not. I mean, when you have a lot of paintings, you start to forget stuff. The time period in my life, I was really inspired by flowers. So they're just because the flower painting has a number at the end of it doesn't mean that it's any less. And sometimes in my work, you will see one that's titled so and so title 16. And then I will go back and do number one. But what's funny is number ones will be more advanced than the one succeeding because number one was made after them, after I learned all the techniques. So that's one thing that is in all of my series. I really like the texture medium. You couldn't afford to do it now. It's just so prohibitively expensive. But I took time of that window of creativity, inspiration, and of course the accessibility to the materials. This painting has been in this frame for I think its whole life. But yeah, it's just one of my it's a very modern painting of something very timeless. It's kind of weird. And the vibrancy of the colors is something that I'm just really happy with. I wouldn't change anything on this painting. And it says what I wanted it to. It just to be a flower painting, not to be the best, not to be the worst, just to be a flower painting that makes people happy. And I enjoy looking at it much throughout the years. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and there will be more to come. Thank you.